All right, MiniExam 2 demo. So, as always, these are questions. There are two sides to both of these. There's a data table and a questions piece of paper. Make sure you fill out the academic conduct code at the beginning. These questions I haven't spent a lot of time recently thinking through, so this will give you a chance to maybe see my thought process as I approach these kinds of questions. So with that, let's just begin. So the first question is about filtering. So we're given a data table here, and we're asked to do this filter, and then we're going to select the rows that remain after the filter. So this is giving us two filtering conditions. We have that the price is below 30, and then we have this OR operation, and then we have the category for fiction. So this OR operation is the tricky part, right? So we can go through and just check the prices, but the fiction, sorry, the OR operation is the one that's most tricky here. So when we go through, we can either check fiction or we can check the price. So I'm just going to go through and just put a check mark behind each of the fiction books, because we're checking for the category being equal to fiction. And then for the second condition, for the price condition, we're just going to go through and check each of the ones that's below 30. So under 30, under 30, under 30, and under 30. And then for it to be an OR, we need one of these two to be selected for the row to be selected. So is this selected or is this selected? And then we just go through. So this one, definitely at least one of them is selected. Row 3, row 5, and row 6. Okay, so then let's just circle these. So this is 1, 3, 5, and 6. Okay, so this is selected or this is selected, so this one would be selected. And then these are also selected because this is selected or this is selected. Okay, so that's the first question. The second question is this multi-step data operation, and we're going to use the second table here. So fill in the exact result of the following operations using the restaurant ratings data. So first, we want to filter for ratings that are above 4. So the first one, I'm just going to actually cross out each of the rows that doesn't meet our first condition, the filter. So I'm just going to cross these rows. And then we're left with these 4. Then the second is to group by cuisine. So maybe I'll just put a circle around each of the remaining ones. So these are our groups. And then we're just going to go through and count up each of the rows. So this is 2, this is 1, this is 1. Okay, and this is, exactly what your computer would do in this situation. So let's write in the cuisine. This is a little bit funny of a format, but here we have Italian, and we have 2. We have Thai, and we have 1, and then we have Mexican, which is 1. All right, so nice. So this is the result of the operations. So let's flip over, and we have 3 more questions. All right, so here we're asked to build a filter, and we're given these component parts. So we're trying to find all transactions from the weekend with amounts between these two values. And then we're asked to write the correct expression here. So I think this is actually a bit more tricky than the previous questions. Here we're looking at, let's see. I guess we don't have, this was for an earlier question that was taken out. So this is just, we're going to write an expression without actually using a data table. Okay, so what we're looking for is the weekend, and we need the amounts to be between these two values. So this is actually a pretty complicated kind of question. We're given the component parts, but I'm just going to write some scratch work over here, and then we'll put the answer in the entry box. So we need these two things to be true at the same time. So we need it to be both on the weekend and be between these two values. So I'm going to write this out in a couple of steps. So the first step would just be, is it the weekend? And then we need it to also be between these two values. So we'll say between 50 and 200. Okay. And maybe we'll put these in parentheses. So the thing here is we need both of these to be true at the same time. So we have this and. So that's where the and comes from. We need both to be true at the same time. The second thing is that we need it to be on the weekend. So we're going to write weekend in a more expanded form using these components. So the second step here is let's just write in what would need to be true for it to be on the weekend. So for it to be on the weekend, we need it to either be in Saturday or to be in Sunday. So here we're going to say this is condition 2 or condition 4. So that's what it means to be on the weekend. So we'll put the and again. And then we have the second expression, which is between these two values. So for it to be between these two values, we actually need this to be true. So it needs to be above $50. And it must be also below $200. So this is actually an and statement. So this is statement 1 and statement 3. And if we wanted to, we could just write this as and. Sometimes this ampersand is a little bit funny. Okay, so this is our statement. We need the weekend, and we need it to be between these two prices. Okay, so let's just write this out. So this is 2 or 4 and 1 and 3. Okay, so I think this is probably the hardest of the questions so far. Just thinking through the logic step by step. And you can see I used some sort of scratch notation here. I just wrote out some steps just to make sure that I was expressing the condition properly. Okay, so question 4, understanding transformation. So we're going to look at this table, delivery efficiency. So the delivery company wants to compare driver efficiency across regions with different wage levels. So here we have region, we have deliveries per hour, and then we have local minimum wage. So what we want to do is circle the best transformation and explain why in one sentence. I took this part out. All we're trying to do is circle the best transformation. All right. So we want to compare driver efficiency across regions with different wage levels. And so this question, maybe this is a little bit vague. Now I'm seeing this. So if I were seeing this, I would maybe be curious how we define efficiency across different regions with different wage levels. But from the context, we're asked about different wage levels. So what I would maybe try to do is think about deliveries per dollar. And that might be a better way to ask this question. So let's say efficiency equals dollars per delivery. Okay. Or deliveries per dollar. So when we're looking through these different options, we can see, and if you ever have questions about this, this is how I'm interpreting the statement of this question. But if it wasn't clear to you during a mini exam, I can't always, some vagueness sometimes can creep into questions like this. Please do ask me if this isn't clear. Okay, so as we go through these, I would say deliveries per hour plus local minimum wage. That's definitely not a meaningful metric. The same for subtraction. So the last two are about deliveries per hour times local minimum wage, which I don't think this is this multiplication isn't, I think, that informative. What would this multiplication mean? I'm not sure. So that really leaves one remaining option, which is deliveries per hour divided by local minimum wage, which gives us sort of the inverse of this thing. So I interpreted the question as asking dollars per delivery or deliveries per dollar, which is what this is being asked for. Okay, so nice. Maybe a slightly vague question, but given the context, I think this is at least pretty clear. Okay, so question 5, predict the grouping output. So let's put a sad face next to this one, maybe a little bit unclear. But for question 5, what we're trying to do is group the employees by department and calculate the median salary. So the first thing we'll do is group the employees by department. So here we have a department variable, and we're going to try to just group them. So maybe what I'll do, we have admin on its own, and then we have sales. Let's make a little funny little wow, really nice. And then maybe a second one here, which would be this second group. Okay, so that's maybe a weird way of selecting these. You could probably just see which are which. So we have tech, and then everyone else is sales. So the question is, after we've done the grouping and then we've calculated the median salary, how many rows will the output have? Well, that's just going to be 1 row per group. So in that case, we have 3. Then what will the median salary for sales be? And so this is a place where you'd have to whip out your calculator. So here for question 3, we're looking at 52, 60, and 55. And this is where I would whip out a calculator. But I'm currently recording with my phone. So That's not going to be possible. So let me just take a guess here. So this should be right around 56, and I don't see that on the options. So I'm going to select 58. So maybe the correct answer isn't even on this list. But yeah, so it'll be somewhere right above 55. Something like that. And then, so everyone in the comments is, leave a comment about the correct answer here. I think it's not 58. So then the last question here is, which aggregation would give sales the highest value? So what we want to do is consider other alternatives. Oh, I'm sorry. The correct answer is here. This is looking for median, not mean. So it is just 55. So it's the middle one. Very nice. So no calculator needed, actually. All right. So don't leave your comments in the chat below. All right. So the last one here is, which aggregation would give sales the highest value? So we have our group for sales, and we're wondering which of the following aggregation measures gives us the highest value. Well, we definitely know it's not the minimum. It's not the median. It's not the mean. These are all measures of midpoint and minimum. We could compare maximum and sum. Well, if we use the maximum, we get 60. And if we add them all up, we get something that's much larger than 60. So it turns out to be the sum. Okay, so this is just my thought process going through these. This is generally the kind of format you can expect. The questions will be very different from this, but the format will be the same, and it'll test similar questions to what we've covered here. Okay, so I'll see you in the next one.